Dexter Season 2 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important. If you aren't caught up to the point where I am, you're rewatching or watching Dexter, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description for you. If that happens to be the case and you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. This will be Dexter Season 2, Episode 8. The title of this episode is called Morning Comes. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. Starts off with Dexter saying he's living with a snake and a mongoose, referring of course to Lila and Deb. And he realizes that Cody has put one of his toys in his bag, so he has to go to Rita's to drop it off so Cody can get his toy back. And then Dexter does go to Rita's. The kids are just absolutely thrilled to see them. It's like they don't really like Rita that much. They love Dexter. And Rita says that she never wants Dexter to drop by like that again, as it's just too hard on the kids. She doesn't want to see him anymore at this point. Lundy is investigating, of course, the whole department, as Lundy believes that one of them may be the killer, the Bay Harbor Butcher. Masuka says that Lundy actually walks like Hitler, okay? Dokes mentions to LaGuerta that his father was a butcher. And then Lundy asks Deb out for dinner. Dexter thinks Lila may have started the fire at her place on purpose, which we already know is the case. Lundy talks to Dexter about blood work that he did on the Rodrigo case that led to somebody guilty walking free. Mentions how careful Dexter is, and one of the best forensics that he's ever had the pleasure of working with. How the hell did that happen? Sloppy blood work by Dexter? Dexter says he was overworked with too many cases, says it got pushed aside, and he started working on it at the last minute. And Lundy says a murderer walked free because Dexter was overworked. Deb tells Dexter she found an apartment. She says she has a date with Lundy. And then Deb also mentions Miss Pardon My Tits is gross. And I love that line, Miss Pardon My Tits, when Lila said Pardon My Tits, as Deb randomly saw her at Dexter's. And then Lila goes to watch Dexter bowl, because that's just the most entertaining thing in the world. There's also a part where Batista and Deb go to this guy's house, Lenny, and he's one of those annoying neighbors that complains about everything, and he documents every single thing. He has like boxes and boxes of notepads with documents of things that happen. It could just be simply a car part, that he doesn't recognize. So that's that. But what they do find out is he has a box that with some information the night that Rodrigo, who is his neighbor, his car. So that will come into play later. Lundy cooked for Deb. She tells Lundy she has a very dirty mind. We already know that, Deb. You like to use handcuffs. And Lundy kisses Deb. Santos Jimenez attacks Dexter outside the bowling alley. Of course, he's saved by Batista and other people at the station that bowl with him. I'm sure Soderquist was somewhere in the background there. And he cuts Dexter, actually, before they are able to save him. Lila is the one that stitches Dexter up at her place and tells Dexter he's been rather distant lately. Dokes comes into the station to talk to Lundy, and then Dokes decides to leave when Lundy says something about bad blood work, like sloppy stuff during some of the cases that he worked that are tied to victims. And he mentions bad blood work, and I think right there, Dokes put all the dots together, which he already pretty much had figured out, that Dexter is the one behind all this. He's the Bay Harbor Butcher. He just needs proof. So that's why Dokes leaves without saying anything. Why wouldn't he just tell Lundy that he thinks Dexter Morgan is behind it? I'm not sure why he didn't, but whatever. Dokes likes to be special ops alone by himself rather than have help from everybody else, I guess. It'll be his downfall later on. But Dexter is going after Santos Jimenez, and Dexter follows Jimenez to a secret cabin in the Everglades. Dexter gets Jimenez with the M99. Lila shows up at the station, But Dexter isn't there, even though he told her he would be working late. And Deb says that he lied to you, ha ha, which really makes Lila upset in her mind. Dokes breaks into Dexter's apartment. Lundy, Deb, and Batista figure out that the Bay Harbor Butcher is one of their own because they got the license plate number from Lenny's notepad, one of the many ones he has, thousands of notepads, and they put that into the to track it, and it was actually at the station impound, and somebody had taken it out the night that Jimenez was killed or something like that. So somebody at the station is the Bay Harbor Butcher, obviously. And then Dexter does indeed kill Jimenez with a chainsaw, rather fitting. And then Dokes finds the blood slides in Dexter's apartment inside his air conditioning unit. And it turns out that Lila is the one that told Jimenez to go to the bowling alley. Rita calls to ask Dexter if he was at her house because the door was open when Astor went up to the door. Why would you just lock it if you had the key? Doesn't make sense to me. And Dexter, because of this, says is mad. You don't fuck with him, and you don't fuck with his ex-girlfriend that hates him. And then Dexter goes to Lila's and demands Rita's key. Lila confesses that, yeah, she called Jimenez. She wanted to, I guess, impress Dexter or something like that. And Dexter says Lila is more dangerous than his addiction will ever be. He says, stay away from Rita and stay away from me, or you will see the monster as the episode ends. So another brilliant episode of season 2 of Dexter. I can't remember if Soderquist was in this episode. I'm sure he was in the background somewhere, but he's just this guy that's in every episode as a background character, and I think he needs to have a spotlight episode. Kind of like, well, if you saw Lost, there's a episode where there's 2 background characters. We're actually only technically in 1 season, but they said they were there the whole time. I think it was Nikki and Pablo. I'm trying to remember what their names were, but they had like their own focused episode where they focused just on them, and I think Soderquist deserves that kind of treatment. But anyway, I, of course, really enjoyed the episode. As far as the score of it, I'm going to give it an 8.9 out of 10, which may seem a little lower now that I think about it, but something about it just made me give it an 8.9 instead of like a 9 or 9.2 or something like that. The character of the episode is going to be Dokes. As far as how good Santos Jimenez is, I mean, he doesn't really get the opportunity to do much, but I think he's actually, I mean, he had the cabin because he still had his cocaine business going, and he's a really bad motherfucker. He just got outsmarted by Dexter. So I'm going to give Jimenez, this is his second score, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as an adversary to Dexter. And the character of this episode, I'm going to give it to Sergeant Dokes. I guess we have to mention Lenny as a character as well, even though he's not a bad guy and he doesn't get killed. As an annoying neighbor that calls the police for everything and takes notes of everything, I'll give him a 7.5 out of 10. Is just a random character that's in 1 episode of Dexter. So I'm done blabbing. You've heard what I have to say. Now, of course, it's your turn. If you're a fan of Dexter or Dexter New Blood, or if you like anything on JDev TV, yes, I did not mention my name is JDev at the beginning of the video because, well, you've heard it already. If you haven't heard it, that's my name. Just to save time on the length of the videos, the extra 5 seconds it takes. But if you are a fan of the show, the channel, and if you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, go ahead and smash that like button. If you know anybody that would be interested in these videos, or if you want to share this across any of your social media platforms, please do so. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode. What would you score it? Who would be your character of the episode, your favorite moment? If you want to rank the villain in this episode, which it's Jimenez again for the second time, you can rank how good Lenny is as a character. Doesn't have a lot of scenes, but, I mean, as an annoying neighbor that takes a bunch of notes, yeah. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return. Unless Dexter puts me on his table.